Welcome back to Runeverse for the fourth of the four quarterfinals in my Flesh and Blood Blitz tournament. So here we have Lexi against Chane. Lexi was randomly selected to go first, so we'll be starting on this side. Let's take a look to start out at Lexi. So she has Essence of Ice and Lightning, which just means she's going to have Ice and Lightning cards in her deck. We don't really have to pay attention to that now that her deck has been constructed. And speaking of that, of course, this is a pre-constructed deck anyway, and so is the Chane deck. Both are pre-constructed Blitz decks. Lexi has the standard of 4 intellect, which means her hand size, and 20 life points on the bottom left and right corners of that card, respectively. And once per turn action, you can turn a face-down card in her arsenal face up. Now, arsenal is kind of the extra card in your hand. If you don't use your full hand of 4 cards, you can put one into your arsenal and play that on a future turn. And Lexi, as an archer or ranger, is going to make special use of that through various abilities that we're going to see, and use that arsenal in ways that other heroes don't. So here she can turn it face up, and if it's a lightning card, her next attack will go again, and if it's an ice card, give her opponent frostbite, and then that ability has go again, of course, so that you can do something else afterward. And this is the frostbite token. Basically, it's just going to make the next card your opponent plays cost 1 extra resource, unless they don't play anything on the end of their turn that goes away. Now, as another way to manipulate her arsenal is she has her weapon here, the two-handed Shiver bow. Once per turn as an instant, so not an action, she can pay 1 resource and put an arrow card from her hand face up into her arsenal. So that ability and her innate ability are kind of at odds with each other because her built-in ability requires her to turn a face-down card face up, and Shiver is going to put a card there face up. So we're not going to be able to use them both on the same turn, I don't believe. Again, I haven't played Lexi before, and I don't think I've played Chane before, but I'm kind of familiar with him, certainly more than I am with Lexi. So we'll see. I'll take you all along for the ride, and we'll figure it out together. But once Shiver does put a card into her arsenal face up, we can either give it +1 damage until end of turn or dominate until end of turn. So this is going to provide a way to play a card from her arsenal on a turn when you might not have set up the arsenal to be able to do so, which is nice because I think a lot of her arrow cards can only be played from arsenal. So Shiver can let you knock your bow immediately and fire it off, and then for the cost of 1 resource basically, and then as a little bit of an extra reward, you get a damage or dominate. And then we'll take a look at Chane. So again, we have the standard 4 and 20 stats on the bottom. And his ability is that he can create a Soul Shackle token to give his next Rune Blade or Shadow action go again. So he can do multiple things per turn at the cost of gaining a Soul Shackle. Soul Shackles being this token here, which does not go away, and at the beginning of your action phase, banish the top card of your deck. So the more he uses that ability, the more he's going to be burning through his deck. And again, I believe he's got cards in his deck that penalize you for being banished. So could be even worse from that, although I might be mixing that up with one of the characters I'm not using in this tournament, which is Levia. So she's not here. She definitely has the feature that her banished cards can be dealing damage to her with an ability called Blood Debt. We'll see if that shows up for Chane. He has the weapon Galaxy Black. This is his sword, and it attacks for 1 at the cost of 1 resource. And if you've played a card from your banished zone this turn, Galaxy Black gets +2 damage until end of turn. And if it hits, it deals an arcane damage as well. So I guess what we're going to see is cards that get banished and then can be played from that banished zone, giving Chane extra cards. And the more cards you have, the more your actions you're going to want, making that go again ability, giving you even more Soul Shackles. So it's a nefarious loop, I suppose. So expect to see Chane trying to combo out. So I think Lexi's opener is not amazing, but I think we're going to pitch this yellow card for 2 resources. So we're going to set that aside and generate 2 in order to pay for the 1 cost on Shock Striker, which is going to be attacking for 5. And it has an ability that we can pay 2 resources to make it so that if it hits, it deals 1 more damage. So that 5 is going to be coming in, and if we want as an instant, we can pay 2. We do have 1 remaining because we made 2 and spent 1. And again, as we've seen in previous games, the second player has a bit of an advantage to make up for the fact that they're going second, in that they get to have a full redraw at the end of the first player's turn. So normally if you block, you won't have those cards available to attack with on your own turn. But Chane here is going to be able to block for 2, 3, 4, 5, preventing all 5 damage from the Shock Striker, and he'll still get to draw back up to 4 at the end of her turn. So Lexi could pay 2 resources to use this instant, but there's no point in doing so, and she really doesn't have anything else she can do. She doesn't have any go again off that, so she can't perform another action. So she's going to end her turn, wasting that resource and putting 1 card into her arsenal, which will be this one. And then this card, I guess, is just going to stay in her hand, and this pitched card will go to the bottom of her deck, and she'll draw 3 in order to fill up her hand to 4. And again, because he's going second, Chane also gets to redraw up to 4. So I think the first thing Chane's going to want to do is definitely to use his Soul Shackle ability. So this is a once per turn action with Go Again. Create a Soul Shackle token, and your next Runeblade or Shadow action gains Go Again. So now this, at the beginning of our action phase, is going to banish the top card of our deck. That'll start on future turns. So for now, we're going to pitch this yellow card for 2 resources and spend it to play Rifted Torment. This has a couple of features. First of all, it's attacking for 4, as you can see in the bottom left. Costs 2, which we just paid. And we can play this from our Banish Zone, which doesn't apply here because it was in our hand, so we just play it normally. If we do, it deals an arcane damage, so again, that doesn't apply. And it has Blood Debt, which means if it is in our Banish Zone, it's going to make us lose health, so again, that doesn't apply. So in the end, we're just attacking for 4, and it does have Go Again because of Chane's ability. And as you've probably seen me do many times in this series, I'm going to not block the first attack coming in. So Lexi's going to go ahead and take that 4 from her 20, going down to 16. But because of the Go Again on this from Chane, we will go ahead and attack again. So we've got another card here. Let's just pitch this red card for 1 resource in order to attack with Galaxy Black, which is now attacking for 1. We have not played a card from our Banish Zone, so it doesn't get +2, but if it hits, it's going to deal 1 arcane damage. And I think Lexi will use her Iron Rot Legs. So this has 1 defense there, along with the Blade Break ability, meaning after she defends it, it's destroyed. So I'm just going to block that 1 from Galaxy Black, which means the 1 arcane damage trigger does not happen. And with that, Chane will go ahead and end his turn. Moving Galaxy Black back, putting this attack into the discard, putting these pitched cards on the bottom of his deck, and putting his remaining card into his arsenal. Now Lexi's got her full hand as well as her arsenal to work with, and I think she'll start out by using Lexi's ability to turn her arsenal card face up, revealing Electrify. Because it is a lightning card, her ability means her next attack this turn will have Go Again. And then we'll go ahead and play the Electrify. So let's take a look. It does cost 1. So we'll pitch this Chilling Ice Vein we saved from our first turn here. Not necessarily intentionally, but we're going to spend 1 of the 2 we generate to pay for Electrify. And it says the next time an attack action card hits a hero this turn, it deals 3 damage to them. And if this was played from Arsenal, draw a card. It was played from Arsenal, so we'll draw a card. And then this card also has Go Again. And our next attack will have Go Again. I think we actually want to play the card we just drew, but first we're going to need to use Shiver. So let's pay this 1 in order to activate Shiver, which again means we can put an arrow from our hand face up into our arsenal and give it +1 damage or Dominate. I think we'll take the Dominate, and we're going to choose Frazzle, which is a card we just drew. And it is an arrow. It has Lightning Fusion, so we will reveal a lightning card from our hand, Heaven's Claws, in order to fuse it. And if it was fused, whenever an attack would damage this turn, it instead deals that much damage +1. So this is going to be attacking for 6 if and when we play it, which we will momentarily. But for now, it's just going to be in our arsenal. I think we're going to use another piece of equipment here. I might be greedy here, but I'm going to use Deep Blue, which is Lexi's chest equipment. So put a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck and destroy this to gain 3 resources. Go Again. So I'm going to put this card on the bottom of the deck and get 3 resources. It was a red card, so it only pitched for 1. So I feel like this basically is transforming it into a blue card at the cost of 1 of our equipment. So we now have 3 resources to work with, and we can spend 1 of them to play the Frazzle, which is now attacking for 6 because of its own ability, and it has Dominate because of Shiver. And it has Go Again because of Lexi. So I forgot to draw Chane's 4 cards here, but let's see if he wants to block at all there. So that is 6 damage coming in, and you can only block with 1 card because of the Dominate ability. I think we'll go ahead and block for 3 with this card. Still figuring out Chane here, but hopefully we'll get something from our Soul Shackle that we can play. So 3 from the 6 is going to put him down to 17. Okay, and there are no on-hit effects. Actually, there is Electrify. I forgot about that. Next time an attack action card hits a hero, it deals 3 damage. So Chane couldn't have blocked for any more than 3, so he couldn't prevent that Electrify. So he is going to take 3 more damage and go down to 14. And then Lexi still has Go Again, and she's got 2 more resources. So we're going to spend 1 of that to play Heaven's Claws, which we revealed to fuse the Frazzle, but it is costing 1 and is attacking for 5, or rather 6, because of the bonus from Frazzle. And so it's another 6 damage coming at Chane, and I think he's just going to try to take this one and go down to 8, and hopefully he can make a comeback on his turn. And that will be it for Lexi, so we're wasting 1 resource here. Pitched card to the bottom, played cards from the chain to the discard, and then still 1 card saved for the arsenal. And draw 4 to end the turn. So now being down to 8 is a little bit annoying with Lexi still up at, what is that, 16. First thing that happens, I believe, is the Soul Shackle is going to banish the top of our deck here, and we get a Seeds of Agony. So this is a card that says it can be played from our banish zone, which is nice, but it's on attack. But if we leave it in our banish zone, that Blood Debt is going to damage us at end of turn, every turn, in fact. So definitely incentivized to play it, move it to our discard pile, and it can buff up an attack that we do play. So for now, it is in the banish zone. So I did forget one thing. At the start of our turn, I should have revealed this card because it is Lord Sutcliffe. So this is a type of card we looked at briefly. I think in the previous match, we saw Bolton's mentor, but she just showed up long enough to block. So this time, Chane actually got to put Lord Sutcliffe into his arsenal and now reveal it at the start of his turn. And it says that when we play non-attacks, it's going to hit arcane damage on both players, and when it's collected 3 counters this way, we get to kind of trigger it and for its full ability to search for a specialization. I don't know what Chane's specialization is, but I think we're going to find out this turn. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to go ahead and play the Seeds of Agony for 0. So we can play it from our banish zone. Our next attack with cost 1 or less gains deal 1 arcane damage to target hero. This has Go Again. And because it is a non-attack action card, Lord Sutcliffe will trigger, dealing 1 arcane damage to each hero and then getting a lesson counter for each damage dealt. I think we will use these Spell Fray gloves. They have the Spell Void ability, letting them prevent 1 arcane damage. So we're going to prevent the damage to ourselves. We're going to deal 1 to Lexi. She does not have Spell Void, so she's going to have to take that and go down to 15. And then Lord Sutcliffe is going to get 1 counter. And this has Go Again, so we'll keep going. We're going to pitch this blue card for 3 resources. And we'll spend 2 of that going down to 1 in order to play Howl from Beyond, so another non-attack action card. So it can also be played from Banish Zone, which doesn't apply here. The next attack action card we play this turn gets +3 damage, and this also has Go Again, and again Blood Debt, which doesn't matter. But that is another non-attack action card. So that's also going to trigger Lord Sutcliffe. This time we're going to have to take that 1 and go to 7. And Lexi also has to take 1, going to 14. But that is 2 more counters for Lord Sutcliffe. So he is now at 3, and we get to banish him and search for a specialization card to put into our arsenal. All right, so we get to find Soul Reaping, which is Chane's specialization here. And that's going to go into our arsenal face up. So see if we're able to use that this turn. Otherwise, we can save it for next turn. So I had to pause the video and look it up because the way I understood this card just seemed really weird. But from what I can see, I think I've got it right. So basically, this costs 6 and attacks for 6. But the cost of 6 may as well not exist because you're just going to use this alternate cost, which is to banish any number of cards from your hand. As long as you banish 1 or more, you can play Soul Reaping for 0 resources. And in fact, for each of the cards you banish this way that has Blood Debt, it's going to generate resources for you. So this is a card that actually gives you resources for playing it for free. Well, not for free, but you're banishing cards with Blood Debt, and a lot of those cards can be played from the banish zone. So it just seems really weird that it even has that 6 printed on it, but I guess it's just in case you want to play it, you can. I found that 6 to be kind of misleading though, but now that I understood it, I guess it's straightforward. And if it is attacking somebody who has Soul, it has Go Again. And we're not playing against Bolton or Prism, so that's not going to apply here. But what we could do is use Chane to give it go again, but we'd still have to pay something, so we'd have to banish our card from our hand, and then we wouldn't actually have anything to follow up with. Actually, we would, because if we banished this to pay for that cost, we wouldn't generate any resources because our card does not have blood debt. But we would have go again because of Chane, assuming we use this action, and we still have one resource left that we could use to attack with Galaxy Black. So we could attack for 6, actually 6 buffed by these 2 non-attack actions, and then Galaxy Black, which would be attacking for 3 plus a potential arcane damage. Or we could save the Soul Reaping, perhaps for next turn, have a potentially even bigger turn. We do have an attack that we can use right now to attack with, buffed by these non-attack actions, spending our resource. We could even give it go again, but in that case, we would not be able to pay for Galaxy Black, unless we use the Ether Ironweave, which is a bit of a waste of a resource, but getting to attack for 3 on a turn that we've played a non-attack and an attack, or rather, Galaxy Black cares about playing something from Banished. I'm thinking of Briar. We have played a card from our Banished on this turn, though hopefully we'll be doing that a lot. So I think I'm going to save the Soul Reaping in my soul, or my arsenal for now, and attack with this Vexing Malice, spending our last resource on that. So it's attacking for 3, plus another 3 from Howl from Beyond. And when we play it, Seeds of Agony is going to have it deal 1 damage, and its own ability is going to have it deal 2. So Lexi can't do anything about that. She goes from 14 down to 11, and then she has the option of blocking the 6 damage attack that is coming in. And you know what, before we get too far, I am going to retcon a little bit. I'm just going to say that we use Chane's ability before playing the Vexing Malice, so that we can have a second Soul Shackle. We're not going to use the go again, but I think he wants to have those Soul Shackles. So Lexi is at 11 against Chane 7, but things are starting to get a little bit crazy over there. We do have a 4 life advantage, but 6 is coming in. We could drop to 5 if we don't block. I think as Lexi, we're going to try the classic not blocking. So we're going to take the 6, going all the way down to 5, and hopefully we can make this work. I feel like I say that a lot. So that is pretty much all Chane can do then. These cards will go to the discard. He's got no blood debt cards in Banished. He now has 2 Soul Shackles. He still has 3 pieces of equipment left and 4 cards in hand. So now Lexi's on the back foot on life, but she does have her full hand and her arsenal, although she knows that Soul Reaping is coming. So let's see if we can make things happen. First, we're going to use the Honing Hood. It says destroy the Honing Hood, return all cards in your arsenal to your hand, then put a card from your hand face down into your arsenal. That'll be this one here. So this is destroyed. We're going to use Lexi's ability to reveal our arsenal card, and because it is a lightning card, our next attack is going to have go again. Then we're going to pitch this card for 3 resources, and we're going to spend 1 of them to play this Electrify from our arsenal, so our next attack that hits is going to deal 1 damage, and if it is played from arsenal, which it is, we will draw a card, and then we get to go again, so draw a card. Then we're going to use one of these resources to use Shiver's ability to put an arrow from our hand into our arsenal face up, and then we're also going to give it +1 damage, and we're going to spend our last of these resources to play Bolt and Shot, which, or rather, it does cost 0, so we don't have to pay, and it's going to be attacking for 5 because of Shiver's damage bonus, so 4 plus the 1, and since this attack is greater than its base attack, it's going to have go again, and if it hits, reload, meaning we get to put another arrow into our arsenal. So we are attacking for 5, and Chane has to take all of that 5 damage seriously because of that on-hit ability, not only from Electrify, but from its own reload ability. And it does have go again. Intrinsically, it also has go again from Lexi's ability previously in the turn. So that means we have 2 more attacks after this. So that is dangerous. I think Chane will block for 5. I was thinking I wanted to use this Mark of Lightning to force through that on-hit effect by dealing 1 damage, but it only works with lightning or elemental attacks, and Bolt and Shot is not. It is a ranger action arrow attack, but is not elemental, so that 5 damage is going to prevent all 5. We do have another 2 more actions, but we don't have an arrow ready. So we just have to play a regular attack from hand, spending our last resource here. And it's attacking for 5. And if it hits, the Electrify will do an extra damage. And this is dangerous for Chane. He can take the 5 plus 1 and go down to 1. But it's going to be really hard to play the Soul Reaping now, or at least for good effect. And also, if he does block with all of his hand, he's not going to have any cards to pay for the potential Blood Debt cards that start getting banished by these Soul Shackles. So really, he wants to be playing the cards that are banished to avoid taking Blood Debt damage. But if he has no cards in hand, he won't have the resources for that. So I think he's going to take it all. I don't know if this makes any sense. We'll see how it plays out, but I don't think he can function without cards. So even though things didn't go as planned here for Lexi, I think she is okay with that turn of events. So these will go to discard. This will go pitched card to the bottom. And we've actually got 2 cards left. So one of them we'll put into Arsenal. Fortunately, awkwardly enough, they're both elemental, but neither of them is lightning or ice, meaning Lexi's ability won't come into play. They both have fusion-based on-hit triggers. They both cost 1. They both pitch for 1. And they both attack for 5. So it really doesn't matter at this point because the on-hit effects from fusion are relevant to someone at 1 health. So we'll just do it like that and draw up to 4. So it's down to the wire here. Soul Shackle is going to happen. 2 Soul Shackles, put 2 cards in Banish, and they both can be played from Banish, and they both have Blood Debt, which means at the beginning of your end phase, if it is in your Banish zone, lose 1 health. So Chane really has to play both of these this turn. And let's just start doing things and see if it works, because there's a lot of complicated effects going on. As dangerous it is, I think we need to get a Soul Shackle here. So we're going to go up to 3, and that's going to give our next attack a go again. Our attack is going to be the Soul Reaping. Instead of paying the 6 resource cost, we're going to banish a card with Blood Debt from our hand, meaning we gain 1 resource. And that attack has go again due to Chane, and it's attacking for 6. There's no on-hit effect because, we don't have any soul, so the go again intrinsic to the card is not going to happen. It's just an attack for 6, but Lexi's at 5, so got to block at least 2 of it. So she will go ahead and block 2, and that's going to put her down to 1, saving cards in hand, although there's dangerous because of the arcane damage that Chane can dish out. So maybe just throwing all of our blocking in at once makes more sense. So let's block 5 of it instead. Here's 3 more, going up to 4. And I'm realizing one way to avoid the Blood Debt, the 3 Blood Debt that we've got coming in, other than playing these cards, is just to kill Lexi before the end of Chane's turn, and the Blood Debt never has to bother anybody. So we do have go again from Chane, so we will play this Warmonger's Recital from hand. This is a generic action that has a built-in go again, costs our 1 resource here, and this is the next attack action card you play. This turn gets +3 damage, and if it hits, put it on the bottom of your deck. So we get +3 to our next attack, and this has go again. Then what I'm going to do is use Ether Iron Weave. Says action destroy it, gain 2 resources. Activate this ability only if you've played an attack and a non-attack this turn. We have now played an attack and a non-attack, so we can get 2 free resources here, and that's going to help us play stuff from our banished zone. We're going to spend one of those 2 to play Ghostly Visit, which says it can be played from our banished zone, which is what we're doing, and it's Blood Debt, so we're going to get out of that, and it's going to be attacking for 4, but actually 7 because of the Recital, and in fact, I'm also going to use the Snapdragon Scalers as an attack reaction. Destroy it, and your target attack action card with cost 1 or less gains go again, so we'll still have a resource and another action after this one, which means we'll be able to attack with Galaxy Black, and it'll be attacking for 3 plus a bonus arcane damage. So this is definitely dangerous for Lexi with 7 damage coming in and more to follow. And without switching sides here, we can see that Lexi can block 4 of that. So she's going to take 3 and go to 1, and then Chane can spend that 1 to attack with Galaxy Black, and Lexi can't do anything about it. So that was extremely close. I did not think Chane was going to be able to pull that out, but I guess that's just my inexperience with the deck because he got some very powerful stuff going on. He didn't, of course, if he had ended his turn, these Blood Debts would have killed him, but Lexi just could not block everything. I think she had a pretty good turn lined up as well. Too bad she couldn't hit in Lightning attack on the previous turn because we had this Entwine Lightning lined up. This is a 0 cost attack for 4. And really, it doesn't matter how much Chane blocked it because we'd finally get to use that Mark of Lightning. When he does block it, we would just have it deal 1 damage directly. And as far as I know, there's no blocking step necessarily for that. So it would just be 1 damage. Maybe an item would be able to defend it. I'm not actually sure how that works because this doesn't say it's arcane damage. But regardless, it didn't happen. I think Lexi would have been able to close it out on her turn for sure, especially with Chane being at 1. But there you go. We've got 2 Rune Blades making it into the semifinals. Spoilers if you haven't watched the previous 3 quarterfinals. Briar will be there. We're going to have Chane against Katsu and Kano against Briar. So stay tuned for those semifinals matchups. Subscribe so we can get more subscribers, and bye.